guys, it's me, Halloween Dan, and yes, it's another day, another video.
You're joking. Not another one?
I understand I've been making quite a few recently, but that's because all of a sudden there's loads to talk about. That's what happens in this game. 1 minute you're struggling to make content because there's not a lot to speak about, and the next minute it all comes flying at you from every angle. And today, at last, what we're talking about is some actual, proper, official demonstration videos, actual demo videos from the new range of props from Lowe's. So let's get straight into these. So this has been a long time coming. We've been waiting and waiting for these for a while. I think nearly everyone, particularly with some of the smaller props, has pretty much fathomed out exactly what it is these things do and say. But it's still really good to finally get to see some proper, actual demonstration videos where you can hear the sounds and make a proper judgment on these things. It's really hard to make a judgment about how good these props really are with them just being kind of people's footage where they've sneakily taken a picture or a bit of video. It's really hard to do that. So let's get straight into this huge, quite big range of props. The first prop I just really quickly want to talk about is probably the smallest and also one I haven't talked about at all, and that is the Rapping Reaper. This guy is a kind of cute little Reaper guy. He's about 3 foot, I think, and he'd be perfect for a porch or like a party or something like that. He's just a kind of gimmicky little guy, and he's spitting bars. This
brass monkey, that funky monkey.
Guy is rapping like there's no tomorrow. He's got the skills. It's clearly a family-friendly prop made for a family-friendly party. Like I say, it'd be great next to on a porch or next to your front door for trick-or-treaters. He's talking about getting sweets and stuff. So it's all very kid-friendly, family-friendly, just a little bit of fun.
Yo, boo! Boo, 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 boo! Boo, 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 boo.
The next prop I want to talk about is one I'm actually quite excited about, and that's the Tombstone skeletal zombie. It's a really, really small and quite simplistic prop. It's certainly at the smaller end of the scale that Lowe's have brought out. But you know what? As simple as it is, it's really quite effective. It's clearly a little zombie guy under a tombstone. You've got a tombstone and what looks like a box, which is clearly supposed to be the grave area. And then all of a sudden, that box pops open. Out comes a zombie covered in cobweb. He's got yellow glowing eyes. The movement is maybe not really rapid, but it's rapid enough that it would make someone jump, I'm sure. And as simplistic as it is, I actually really like it. I think jump scares, little simple jump scares, sometimes are the most effective things you can have in a horn. So this guy, as simplistic as he is, gets a big thumbs up from me. Sticking with the similar kind of theme, we move on to the JumpScare Pumpkin. Now, I was kind of on the fence about this guy. He's actually quite a good size. I think he's about 4 foot. It's not a small prop, this, in terms of at least a groundbreaker kind of a prop. And that's exactly what he is. He's a groundbreaking zombie of some description with a pumpkin head. And it's clearly a scare prop. The pumpkin raises off the head. Now, what I wasn't sure about was how good the movement on this was going to be. But it's actually quite a fast movement. The head pops off quite quickly, revealing a skeleton underneath, a very white skeleton with glowing eyes, and the skeleton's kind of shaking, kind of juddering a little bit as this happens. The nice little feature as well is that just before the thing jumps, the eyes of the skeleton light up and illuminate the pumpkin. Now, personally, I would have liked it if the pumpkin was illuminated the whole time, but from what I gather, it's only illuminated when the thing triggers, and then the pumpkin jumps off the head, the skeleton screams and makes some noises, and then the pumpkin slowly lowers back down onto the head. And once again, the jack-o'-lantern's illuminated briefly by the glowing eyes. There are quite bright glowing eyes in this skeleton. I think it would have been nicer if the skeleton had maybe had a bit more feature to it. Maybe if it had been kind of had a bit of flesh sticking to it or something, I think that would have made it more interesting. But that's the sort of thing, I suppose, each to their own. You could do it to this prop if you wanted to. But actually, as jump scare props go, this is a pretty good one. I actually quite like it. There's a few niggles with it, but overall, it's not too bad.
I have the perfect resting place picked out just for you.
Very briefly as well, I'll just talk about the band Reapers. We've spoken about them before. I think it's just because we've actually got some proper footage now, particularly the singer, that lead singer. We've seen the keyboardist, there's a new guitarist, and there's also a lead singer who's propped his feet up on a thing, on a tombstone that says R.I.P. He's bobbing his head backwards and forwards and doing the rock pose. It's a good prop. I still love these props. There's not much more to say about them except, yes, we've got some new ones and they're all still linkable via Bluetooth, so you can play your own music through them. I like them. I think they're a lot of fun. I think if you were having a party or something, they would be perfect for that. I'm not sure how you'd use them in a horn, but you could. I don't know. They're just pretty cool, and there's not much more to say.
I love Halloween. Put another tree to the tree bag, baby.
These Bluetooth Reapers can play any song from your Bluetooth phone or device.
Then we will briefly blast through the Wednesday props. These are not my favorite props. They are a little bit too specific to Wednesday Netflix series, and it would have been nice if maybe they'd introduced, along with that, maybe some classic Addams Family characters as well. I know we've got Cousin It, but it's not the best Cousin It. We'll just briefly talk about this Cousin It. In the video we've got, they're just playing the Addams Family theme tune, and Cousin It's kind of bobbing about to the music. I don't know if the music is part of it or it's just something they've used in this video. I honestly don't know. Either way, the animatronic of this is not doing an awful lot. I don't really know what else you could do with Cousin It, but maybe then don't make that character. Maybe concentrate on another one. I don't know. The Wednesday prop as well, very basic. We've seen it already, but now you see it a bit clearer. She's moving her arms backwards and forwards to the song that she dances to in the series. I think it's the Goo Goo Dolls, not the Lady Gaga TikTok version. And it's great. If you love that series, you'll probably love this prop. It's just, it feels a bit like they've grabbed at the one thing that was the most famous thing from the whole series, and they could have really done something a lot better with this Wednesday prop, in honesty. Then you've got the Pilgrim guy, Joseph Crackstone, who, again, I suppose this is the one character that you could buy, and it's not so specific to the Wednesday thing. It doesn't mention Wednesday or anything. So I suppose you could put him into your haunt as just a creepy kind of guy. He's got smoke coming out of his mouth and that kind of flaming eyes look. I think he's got a light up flame look in his chest and he's holding a musket. He's a creepy guy and he's saying creepy lines about freaks and stuff. I don't know. I don't know whether you could use this any other way or if you would only be able to use this in a Wednesday haunt. It's okay, but it's not amazing.
I will not stop till I've expunged this new world of every outcast. Godless creatures.
Then at last, we've got some footage of these new nautical props, and I have to say, they're very good. I actually like them. They're very simplistic, but still quite good. We start off with the deep sea diver prop, who the sounds that he's making, he's saying these phrases of as if he's gone down into the depths and they're like hunting for a monster and the monster's attacking and killing them. It's kind of creepy. I like the way this guy looks in general. I love that whole diver's suit look, that old school diver's suit. It's really well detailed. The colour on this thing is great. I like the way they've lit up inside the helmet with just the skull inside. It kind of reminds me, it's got Scooby-Doo vibes, this. And I kind of like that. I think that's cool. There's a lot of great detail in this prop. But again, it's that same thing maybe a little bit with the Wednesday props. is it a little bit too specific? I'm not sure how you'd use this in a horn. And also, for the price of this thing, he isn't doing a lot. He is just kind of moving backwards and forwards, which is really the most basic kind of animatronic movement you can have. So, I'm not sure.
I know they're down here. I just can't see them yet. Oh, there they are. I've never seen anything like this. Or at least get one before they get me.
It's the same with the captain prop. He, again, is a quite good looking prop. I like the detail on this. I like the way he's lit. I like the phrases he's using and talking about steering the ship. He's clearly moving the big steering wheel for the ship, and I like the detail on that wheel. It's got a skull right in the middle. You've got really cool rivet looking marks all the way around it. He's obviously an old captain, looks like he's been battered by every wave the sea's got to throw at him. But again, it's a little bit too specific. Unless you've got some kind of nautical theme in your horn, unless you can dedicate an entire area of your horn to an ocean kind of theme, I don't know what you do with this guy. Is he too specific?
Welcome, lost soul. Prepare yourself for the journey, for I'll be swift as the tide that come in, to take you away by the hand of darkness that arrives without warning before the break of day.
Linked in with these two characters is the Servo Siren Witch. Now, I've been a bit harsh about this witch, in honesty. I didn't know exactly what made her nautical. She was being added into this whole nautical theme, and I didn't really get it. Didn't really know what she was supposed to be doing. The pictures we had were very hard to tell exactly what she was going to do. She looks creepy with her kind of sharp and spiky teeth. Very ancient crone looking, and she's got these kind of semi-webbed fingers and clawed hands, so she definitely is creepy. And yes, I suppose the webbed fingers make her more sea witch like, but I didn't really know fully what we were going to get. But when you actually see her in action, she's got some great movement. I love the movement of the head. It's moving around a little bit more. She's raising her arm up as if she's casting a spell. The words, the phrases she's saying are quite good. She's talking about how she's a sea witch and she's casting spells. But obviously, I think the thing that makes this witch so cool is the eye movement. It's that same thing that made Lily really good last year, and it's what makes this witch really good this year. Her eyes are moving and they're also blinking, and the blink on this is very slow, kind of deliberate. She's got great movement, and I really like the look of this witch. I'm not sure I like her as much as I like Lily. I think Lethal Lily just kind of tops her a little bit. But she's really creepy, a really ancient looking hag witch, which I like. The face mold on her is actually really impressive. I like those teeth. I like the movement of the head. But the blinking eyes, I really like. I'm not sure they needed to be lit. That's the only thing. The eyes are light up eyes. I'm not sure they needed to be lit, whether that takes away from it a little bit in terms of realism. But it's okay. I quite like it. I like the fact they're moving. I like the fact they're blinking. That blinking is actually quite good. So, yeah, the witch actually gets a bit of a thumbs up from me. It's just the sea thing, whether that's a bit too specific.
The churning seas cast a spell evil to keep, summoning monsters to rise from the deep. This evil curse from my wretched lips. I am the destroyer of souls and sinker of ships.
We'll briefly mention the clown now that we've got some proper footage of him, though I don't think there's much more to say. Yes, it's a clown. He stood on his hands on top of some bowling pins, and his legs are kind of moving up and down a little bit, and his head's spinning round. And the sound that goes with this is a kind of chuckling, laughing sound. Woo, you know, this is crazy, groundbreaking stuff here.
That's sarcasm.
No offense, but it's not, is it? But oh well. There it is. There's the generic clown to keep the clown-loving people happy. Ta-da! There was one more prop to do with the nautical theme that we had not really seen anything to do with as such, just very quick, sneaky pictures here and there. And that is the prop that's now been officially named as the zombie fisherman. This guy, I have to say, I like. He's really, really cool. Again, zombies are not my most favorite kind of prop, but I certainly like them. And this is a cool looking zombie prop. He's got those tentacles coming out of the mouth. He's got the creepy kind of, looks like he's been at the bottom of the ocean for about 100 years or something. The outfit is pretty good. The face mold on this is a classic zombie face mold in some respects, except it's got the addition of these creepy barnacles kind of growing out of the skin. He's got barnacles on a hook hand that he's got. He's gross, to be honest, and the tentacles coming out of the mouth are even grosser. The only thing that I'm not sure I like is the fact this guy's got phrases. So instead of just moaning or gargling or whatever, he's actually saying some lines. He's got some phrases about the depths and being undead and one thing and another, which is great because you've got that bit of mouth movement, which in turn moves the tentacles in his mouth. So it kind of looks as if something's squirming to try and get out of his mouth. But I'm not sure it was needed. This guy's a zombie. Why is he talking? You know, shouldn't he just be moaning and groaning and stuff? I get they're trying to do something slightly different, but really maybe stick to what we know a zombie is, if you're going to call it a zombie.
I've joined the soulless dead that crawl out of the waters under the light of the moon. So join me as we make our way back into the depths of the darkness.
But lastly is the big one in every single way. This is the one I think I've done a complete 180 on. I've gone from thinking it was terrible to thinking it is awesome. And that is the 12-foot bone collector. This guy is just so imposing. I love the look of this. The face on this guy is really well done. I love the creepy face mold, kind of like a gaunt old man. He's got skin, like big gouges into his skin, big like, cut marks. And he's obviously 12 foot, so he's huge and imposing. I like the outfit. I like the fact that it's a hood, not a weird kind of black sun hat, which was what we had in the original pictures. And he's holding that great big shovel. There doesn't seem still to be any extra movement apart from movement in the head. But you know what? That movement's pretty good. He's talking. His eyes are moving. They're not blinking, but they're moving. It's an overall very impressive prop. I really do like the look of this guy. And I think there is still a question mark in my head as to whether he makes a huge amount of sense, being that he is like a graveyard bone collector kind of guy. Why does he need to be 12 foot? And that skeleton in a bag is possibly the worst part of the prop. It's just kind of looks a bit odd, sort of hanging out of this bag. I don't think it could have been a better skeleton probably. Or maybe just like an arm or a head sticking out, not the whole torso part of a skeleton. But overall, I think this is such a cool prop. I think it's really good. I love that eye movement. Again, I'm not sure it needed to be light up, but then again, he is a 12-foot prop, so you need to be able to see those eyes moving, and if it isn't lit, maybe you wouldn't see it quite so well. Overall, I really like this guy. I've completely changed my mind on him and think he's actually really cool, which I knew would happen. I knew it would happen. The phrases he's got are all about how dare you enter the master's lair and all that kind of stuff. So he's clearly almost like a guardian of the grounds. He's like a groundsman almost in some respects. I don't, again, know whether that makes a huge amount of sense. But you know what? It's still kind of fun and it goes with the character really, really well.
Who dares enter the master's abode? Your soul shall be vanquished to the deepest, darkest dungeon if you do not leave now.
Overall, I I think that Lowe's has done a really good job this year. They've done quite a good job for the last couple of years, in honesty, but this year I think they've brought out some props that they've really thought outside of the box about. We see it with a lot of firms where they kind of rest on their laurels and they do the same thing again. We talked about Spirit only the other day, where guess what? They're doing the really groundbreaking thing of doing a carnival theme and bringing out a load more clowns. Wow, groundbreaking.
Oh, by the way, I was being sarcastic.
That's sarcasm. Lowe's at least are trying to think a little bit differently. They're trying to head in a different direction. Whether that direction works for them is another matter, because as much as I like most of these props, they are very specific. Like the Wednesday props, they're only really going to sell to anybody who really like the Wednesday series. The nautical props, as good as most of them are, they're only going to sell to people who have a nautical theme or have decided they want a nautical theme. And that's not a lot of people. I actually think that the best props in this range are the smaller scale props and then also the big bone collector guy. I think they're the best props out of the range in some ways. The rest of the range is very clever, but maybe just a little too specific. But you know what? Well done, Lowe's, because you are at least trying to think a little bit out of the box and trying to bring something different to the market. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me today. I think this will probably be the last one I talk about Lowe's, but who knows? Something sneaky might be revealed at some point. I don't know. Either way, thank you for watching today, and I will see you in the next one. Keep it spooky. Bye.